Hey everyone, and welcome to another LinkedIn webinar from Klozers. If you're joining us via YouTube after the event, watching the recording, please like, share and subscribe. As always, big thank you to all our existing clients who registered and have signed up for the webinar. And let's get started as quickly as possible. So my goal for today's webinar is to help you give an understanding of some basic applications, use cases, if you like, that you can start to use ChatGPT and or any other artificial intelligence tools that you may be using in a very practical sense. So unlike what I would describe as the traditional or the normal, maybe normal is a better word, and normal presentation that we do, what I'm going to be doing today is sharing my screen and giving you an over-the-shoulder, if you like, view of how we use ChatGPT, including how we actually set ChatGPT up and some additional tools that we're using to help boost it, if you like. I'm going to show you exactly how we use it, and I'll show you some use cases, and hopefully this is going to give you some ideas. And I do understand that the whole subject of artificial intelligence can be a little bit a bit of a hot potato. I'm not going to be talking about the ethics of it. I'm not going to be talking about the what it's going to do to society. That's above my pay grade for in reality. So I'm just going to be talking about AI purely from a sales and marketing perspective, and I also acknowledge that there are some people who, from a sales and marketing perspective, are against AI. And I read an interesting post on LinkedIn from a gentleman who is a very, very competent content marketer, a really strong brand leader, who was basically saying that AI, ChatGPT, is no substitute for for a human doing content marketing, and it's just really debasing the whole skill. I'm not going to say that that person's wrong. However, for me, not everybody, and I'm probably talking about myself more than, not probably, I'm talking about myself more than anybody else. I don't have the creativity. I don't have the ideas that this particular brand leader, I don't have the skills that this brand leader does in creating the content. That this person is absolutely amazing, and I take my hat off to them, but not all of us have those skills. Not all of us have that talent, and probably the analogy that maybe not a great analogy, but McDonald's don't make the best burgers, so you don't have to be the best. There's a place for all of us, right? And I certainly I don't claim to be the best. I don't expect the people that I work with to be the best at anything in particular, because it's just not. There's no reality in that. So where I do see ChatGPT is a tool that is much cleverer and much faster than I am. And if it's cleverer and faster than I am, then I can use it. I can use it to my advantage, hopefully, to help me keep moving forward. Without further ado, bear with me. I'm going to start sharing screens here, and hopefully you're going to get some value out of this particular session. So let me just pull up Google. Share. Right. So that should be you guys looking at my screen now. Just going to put this to one side. So I'm sure you're familiar with the ChatGPT interface. If you just if you've not seen this before, then just Google OpenAI. You can get it via OpenAI, the link from there, or just go straight to ChatGPT. It's also important that what we're using in this session is 100% free. We're not using the paid version. So I know, for example, there's ChatGPT 4, there's Copilot from Microsoft. There's all these other tools, fantastic. I'm still using ChatGPT because, not just because it's free, but I think it's a good lesson on first mover advantage. I've got so used to this environment and this interface it actually feels a little bit strange to me to go to the Microsoft one, and I'm sure it's great. And for all my Microsoft partners who are listening, I've not in any way fallen out of love with Microsoft. It's just that I'm more comfortable with ChatGPT. So this is the interface that you're going to get, and there's some extras here. I'm sure all of you have heard that ChatGPT, the basis, the data, if you like, came from scraping the internet, and it was all, I believe, pre-2020. So, you know, the ChatGPT, the data, when you put in, type in a question, is going to be at least a couple of years out of date, unless you have a workaround. So here's the workaround. So using your Google Chrome browser, go to the Chrome Web Store, and you're looking for an extension. Go to the Chrome Web Store and you're looking for an extension, and what to do is download. Now, this has got removed from Chrome because I've already downloaded it, but normally this button's going to say download or install, and you're looking for Web Chat GPT. And what that does is, whenever you type in a question or a prompt, and I'll explain the difference between a question and a prompt, what that does is, this plugin, if you like, gives ChatGPT the ability to access the internet up till today. So it's live. It's 100% current. It's not got that 2 years of missing data or whatever whatever it was. It's 100% up to date. And this is this is a free tool that you can use. All you need is the Google Chrome browser installed, and you can use this tool. So that's the first thing. And once it's installed, you'll see here it's given us web access, and you can then use these settings. So at the moment, it's set in the default, which is it'll pull from the top 3 results on any given query, right? And you can change it to time, region, etc., etc. So really fantastic tool. Not sure what their business model is, when they can do this for free, but I think it's amazing. So Web Chat GPT, get that loaded onto your Google Chrome browser. Then what I'd like you to do is I want you to go over to within the Chrome Web Store, find AIP RM for ChatGPT. There's the website there. Again, it would normally say install, but we've already got this here installed in our browser. Now, what that does is that gives you access to all of these. And these are what's called prompts. Now, what's the difference between a question and a prompt? A question is a question. You don't need me to tell you what that is. A prompt is what I like to describe it as a question plus context. So you're giving it more context, you're giving it more information on which to base its answer. And there is a whole industry growing up around what they call now prompt engineering. There's businesses being already bought and sold for lots and lots of money around prompt engineering, because the better the prompt, the better the output. So it's no different to anything else. Input equals output. The better quality of the question and prompt that you're using, the more value is going to be in the output of ChatGPT. So a question is a question. A prompt is a question with a lot more context around it. And the more context you give it, the better the answer is going to be. So also, the other thing I believe is worth mentioning is that I view ChatGPT AI, the whole thing, I view that as the orchestra. Now, like any good orchestra, you need a conductor. So you're going to be the conductor, and the quality of the output from your orchestra, your ChatGPT, is dependent on what you put in there. So if you don't particularly ask a really good question, and I've got examples of poor questions that I've asked and given. It's not that I got the wrong response. I got the right response, but it wasn't what I had in mind, and I had to then re-clarify. So you're the conductor. This is the orchestra. ChatGPT is worthless unless you are a good conductor. You're never going to get the value out of it unless you're a good conductor. So it's like everything else in sales, you're going to have to invest some time to learn it. you're going to have to invest some time to practice, and you're going to have to invest some time to get good at it, so to speak. Forgive me. So I've got some real life examples I'm going to use, and the first use case, if you like, that I'm going to use is this particular prompt here, which is on sales training. Now, let me just explain to you. When we pull up a new chat, right, you've got a list of chats down the left-hand side. You then get the choice to put in a prompt. So if I do this, I can type in my question here. Now, because I've got the AI PRM Chrome extension, it then gives me all these different options. Now, at the moment, there's 3,062. This morning, there was 3,061 when I checked it. So every day, people are adding different prompts. And these are prompts that have been designed by people who spend much more time and are much cleverer than I am at this. So these are in effect pre-configured. They're hacks. These sometimes are not perfect, but if you want a quick and dirty way of doing something, you can do this. And if I just type in marketing here, out of those 3,062, there's 70, I beg your pardon, marketing prompts in there. Now, the one that I chose this morning, if I just position. Okay, marketing solutions. Here's the prompt that I chose this morning. So yesterday, I beg your pardon, when I was preparing for this. Sales training positioning. And this is the output that I got from that prompt. Forgive me, the Wi-Fi is slow here. So this is all the prompt. So if you can imagine, I did not type any of this in. This is the complete prompt, so it includes the question. All of this is in the prompt. All of that is in the prompt, but these are the only 2 words that I entered. All the rest of it was in the pre-configured prompt, and it's given me a positioning for sales training. So, an effective sales training. So it's telling you how to position a sales training program differently in a way that's going to set you apart from the competition. So you can swap sales training out for whatever it is, whatever service you do, whatever product you've got, and this is the response that it's got. Now, again, I would urge you not to copy and paste this into any form of website document, any way that you're going to use it. Do not copy and paste it. This is to give you a basis and some really strong ideas. It's not something that I would suggest that you copy and paste. You can, but it's not going to have your personality and your brand's personality in it. See if it's so. As you can see here, it's got some, what they call cause-related campaign ideas, hooks if you're running campaigns. So very simply, you can type in 2 words and you've got that whole. That's probably I don't know, at least a page of good ideas there, and it's way faster and way cleverer than anything that I could do on my own. So another example similar to that. And this is I use this as an example as a way of showing the difference between a question and context. So by providing some context to the ChatGPT before you actually ask a question, it builds and refers back to the previous answers and questions that you've asked. So it's using the whole thread. So you can see here, my initial question is, do you understand the principles of the blue ocean theory in business? It's then telling me yes. Now, if you can imagine, if you wanted a marketing intern to actually do something like this is the way that you deal with a human being. You'd say, do you understand, before you just dump a project on the desk, you'd say, do you understand the principles of the blue ocean theory in business? So they're going to say, ChatGPT tells me yes, and then explains what the principles are. So you then say, using the principles of Lear's, can you produce 3 unique positions that an international sales training company could use to gain market advantage? So another thing I like to use is ask for 3 different answers, because it just gives you a selection to choose from, as simple as that. And getting 3 different answers, it's much faster, it works much better. So you can see here the response. Here are 3 unique positions. So customized cultural sales training, data-driven sales training, sustainable sales training. So out of those 3 different positions, I chose the data-driven sales training. You could choose any one, but you get the idea. So then go. So using your example of data-driven, can you provide a go-to-market strategy for this approach? So it's then telling you. You're then asking it. So using this one example, tell me more, and it's referring back to that. So it's then telling you how to create a go-to-market strategy for that type of position. So then you could turn that into a plan. Here's a comprehensive plan that you can follow to define your target market. So where that came from is up here. It says step 1 was define the target market. Well, if you don't know how to define the target market, what you might do, or you just want more detail to put into a sales plan, what you could say, then, okay, I want more information on, right? And here's the query that I used. Based on your response, can you generate a plan I can follow to define my target market? And then it tells me how I would define my target market. So just by building step by step, I can very quickly build out all the different elements within a sales plan, a sales strategy, a business plan, if you like, right? And using it, building on it case by case. And you can see once I've got to this part here, I could look at this and go, oh, I don't know how to validate through market testing. Well, that sounds really interesting, but we've never done that before. So what I could do is I can then just type in here, how am I, could you explain more and give me a detailed analysis on how to validate through market testing? So just keep using it, and it will refer back to that the previous questions and all the content that's been generated within this particular thread. So and you can use it. So if you're writing marketing copy, you could say, could you, act as, and that's a really good start to any prompt. Act as. So rather than just saying, I want you to write a marketing strategy for sales training for me, you could say, act as Dan Kennedy. Right now, if you don't know who Dan Kennedy is a very famous copywriter and marketeer. So act as Dan Kennedy and create 3 marketing hooks for our new sales training program. Or you're obviously plugging your bit there, but you could see where I've used blue ocean strategy. You can use real life personas. Another one you could say, following the principles of guerrilla marketing, please come up with a plan. You don't have to use please. I keep using please when it's not a human being, but you get the idea. So you can use that act as, which is a really good prompt. And here's some real life use cases. So if I go over here, we're introducing this new product service, and basically it's a free training course for graduates. It's all delivered online. It covers all the fundamentals of selling, and it's free to any graduate, somebody who's out of university and is getting their first role in sales. They could be an SDR, they could be a business development rep, and it's going to give them the basics and the fundamentals of sales. Now, that's a free course that we're going to provide to graduates. So that's great. We've got a course, but what we've got to do is we've then got to somehow promote it. So we can look here, and you can see where one of the ideas that we had to promote it would be to figure out, well, okay, we need to send out a press release to all the universities. Well, what would we put in that press release? Well, what are all the things, the questions that a graduate would use I beg your pardon, what are all the questions a graduate would ask if they wanted to learn about graduate sales training? If you're a graduate, you don't know anything about sales, what sort of questions would you ask? And using one of the prompts from the AI PRM extension, forgive me, I can't remember which prompt it was. There'll be a prompt on FAQs. It's come up with this list of questions that are hopefully going to resonate with graduates. Now, again, it's not a case of cut and paste. We'd go through that and make sure that we inject our personality and our brand, I beg your pardon, into this, because it's just your brand is a huge part of your business, and if you're just going to generate content out of ChatGPT, you're missing out on a lot of things. So my words of caution would be, don't just cut and paste. That is the lazy way of doing it. Put some effort into customizing it, and you're going to get much better results. So you can see there how we could use it to create a press release and frequently asked questions. You could put those frequently asked questions on your website, obviously. That's another use case for it. Here's one where you could do it. Just bear with me. So again, I'm using the prompt here, act as a mid-market sales director selling fintech solutions and data security. Analyze the top 6 competitors in this field and provide 3 unique value propositions that will make us look and sound different to our competitors. So I'm sure everybody on this call who's in sales and marketing understands what that prompt means and the sort of information that you'd be looking at. So there you go. There's the response. As a mid-market sales director, I'm not going to read it out, but you can see what it's telling you. And you'd look at that and you go, okay, so based on our current scenario, what the actual technology solution is that we've got, I would think, I might say, okay, so number 2 is the closest to where we want to be as a business. And then all you would do is you just type in here. So if I said proactive threat intelligence and response, I can quite quickly type in here, using your example of, please create a campaign with 6 posts of a thought leader So using your example of proactive threat intelligence and incident response, please create a LinkedIn campaign with 6 posts in the style of a thought leader that will go viral. Now, I have to, the disclaimer here is I know nothing about proactive threat intelligence and incident response. So I've got no idea if the actual content from this is how relevant it's going to be. Anybody watching this in data security is welcome to email me and tell me. So, okay, straight away we've got post 1, post 2, and it's telling you what to do. And again, I wouldn't suggest that you're going to cut and paste this. What I would suggest is you use these as ideas to write 6 posts. My suggestion would be to use these as ideas to write 6 posts. And you could see post 4, it's on post 5. All of this is way faster than I could ever do, and way much better quality than I could ever do. So here's one here that's got an example of a poor question, I would describe. So this is an example of where a poor question. So the question was, here's the question: act as a journalist and list 6 bullet point headlines to describe the growth of ChatGPT and the AI tools on website. Now, I did this morning, and what I was looking for was some information that I could say, okay, here's why you need to pay attention to ChatGPT. Here's the growth of ChatGPT and everything. And I was looking for some data to share to that would resonate with you. And there we go. There's the response. Now, the response is they've come up with 6 bullet point headlines, which is exactly what I asked for, but it's not what I had in my mind. So if you were a journalist and you wanted to write an article on ChatGPT, here are your article headlines. And that's not what I had in mind. As I said, I was looking for some data so you could see, because I then realized what my poor quality question. So then I added, please provide statistics to demonstrate the growth of ChatGPT and AI. And then it's much better. It's not a better answer. There was nothing wrong with the first answer. It was the question that was poor the first time round. My question, but you can see here that was much more aligned with what I was looking for. 100 million users for ChatGPT within 2 months of its launch. It's faster than any website ever in the history of the internet. So it's a phenomenal tool. The whole AI thing, there are literally hundreds of AI startups registering every single week. It's impossible to keep up with them. But there's obviously AI, they're typically based around text, imagery, or videos. But some absolutely amazing tools going on. And as a salesperson myself, I don't want to get run over and by this juggernaut and just not pay attention, because it's something that I think is going to be really helpful. So here's another one, SDR behavioral questions. I think it was this one. So if you were doing this example here, let's pretend you're a business leader, a sales director, business owner of a SaaS company, and you're hiring salespeople, some SDRs. What you can do is, here's the prompt. I'm hiring a new sales development rep. Tell me 3 behavioral questions and I can ask that are relevant for this position. So a behavioral question, if you're not familiar, is a question that makes a candidate or an interviewee explain behaviors or activities that they did as a result of achieving something. So look at the quality of the questions here. Tell me about a time when you had to work with a difficult customer. How did you handle the situation and resolve any issues? And it then even tells you what to look for in the response. It's telling you what to look for in the response was utterly amazing. So, if you want to improve your recruiting process, you can use ChatGPT to ask better questions and help get a better understanding of how those answers can help you. Another one, you can see that we did value proposition down on the left here. You can see we did that. We're launching this product here. This is a product, digital product, and what we did for this particular product was, this is the landing page. It's not been launched yet, so bear with us. All of this was actually designed. The actual wording was designed from doing research via ChatGPT on the pains behind designing and building a sales campaign. So all of the content here, the pain points, we got from ChatGPT. Now, when we say we got them, we knew some of them anyway, because this is what we do in our world. But it helped us give us new ideas. It helped us understand what was going to be the most important. And you can see there how we've built out a whole landing page. And this is not for SEO purposes. This is a landing page, so it's to drive traffic to. We're not trying to rank this in the search engines. And you can see how we've built this all using ChatGPT, but adding in our own understanding of the situation. So I genuinely hope you've got something, you've got some takeaways from this. If you've got questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me. I'm not an AI expert, but I'm more than happy to do my best to try and answer your questions and help you move forward. So thank you so much for joining the webinar. Thanks for watching via YouTube after the fact. And please follow Klozers on LinkedIn and like and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you so much, and have a great week, guys.